All right, and we are back. Chi-Town Lowdown, doing our Bears pod here on Wednesday as always. Get into a few topics. Obviously, the big one being the Ben Johnson hire. Very excited around the room here. Got a lot of expectations as always going into that 2025 preseason. But also going to get into a few draft pick ideas as well as covering some free agents who we would like to see come back to the Bears who are becoming free agents this year, as well as some other guys that we'd like to maybe cherry pick from other teams. But with that, I think we're starting off with an Alec monologue here. We got Alec as our guest again. So everybody make some noise there. We got plenty of likes rolling in, I'm sure, right now. But yeah, Alec, you can go ahead and take it from here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wards. First of all, thank you for having me again, guys. It's fantastic.
Love having you, man.
Love talking Bears football.
Good content from you.
This is fantastic. But yeah, let's jump right into Ben Johnson. Okay, as we all are, I'd imagine, I'm the type of Bears fan. When good things happen, I take them, I run with them, I hit a 10 immediately as far as excitement goes. Listen, I know the narrative right now is, wow, the Bears have now won their third or fourth straight offseason. Good for us. Really making big moves when it matters, just not translating on the field. But I do think this Ben Johnson hire is different. Like every other move we made is going to be different. It's going to change the team, whatever.
We're a fan, and we have to do that, you know?
We do. What do I have to do? What am I going to do? Pay attention to our play on the field and get excited about that? No.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, that would be great. That's what we're leading to. But for now, this is what I have. This is what I get to hold on to. So with Ben Johnson, I think the main thing, besides him being what he is, the play caller that he is, and kind of everything he brought to the Lions, it shows that the Bears have made we went out and got the number one coaching prospect.
Quick.
I mean, the guy everyone wanted, we went out and got him.
Quick.
Okay? Quick. Like we interviewed 18 people. I don't know what the reason behind that was. I know we just satisfied the Rooney Rule with the running back from Ohio State.
In retrospect, casting that wide net was pretty stupid.
Yeah, I was like, what are we? Every time they give me like the Maryland's defensive coordinator. I'm like, what is happening here? So I don't know if that was like a smoke screen or just getting interviewing practice or just I don't know what the plan was there. Ben Johnson was the guy the entire time. Obviously, he wasn't going to make that final decision until the Lions were eliminated from the playoffs. They get eliminated early. We get the very, very early decision on Ben Johnson. Speaking to that real quick, not to go off on too much of a tangent here, Lions fans, very unhappy.
I saw that.
Yeah. Happened. Because, the news breaks and then Shefty immediately tweets 2 hours later. He's like, Ben Johnson has been working to establish a star-studded coaching staff. All these Lions fans are like, what do you mean? But in his defense, he put up 500 yards in that game. Like, it wasn't Ben Johnson's fault they lost that game. Sure, right. Jameson Williams threw a timely interception when the game mattered. But I will say, I can't wait to watch Rome Odunze throw 3 picks next year. He's ripping it down the field.
That's going to be
sweet. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. And also, speaking to Shefty's tweet here, a star-studded coaching staff, and then immediately highlighting Dennis Allen as as the leader of that.
Did he get fired?
He did get fired mid-season, so that's good. But he is a good defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. The lights got a little too bright for him. It's too big. He is a good defensive coordinator, and I think he's going to do a great thing with the defensive pieces we have in place. We have the potential. We were a good defense last year. After Eberflus left, after Eberflus was fired and Thomas Bryant came in, we did see a very noticeable drop in how our defense was performing. So Eberflus was providing something in that to give him a little bit of credit on the way out here.
For sure.
I don't want to fully take away what he was doing. He just wasn't the right guy to develop Caleb Williams. And that brings us back to, obviously, the man of the hour, Ben Johnson. He could have gone anywhere he wanted to go. Everyone wanted him. He had the ability to pick and choose. I'm taking this interview. I'm not taking this interview. There was a lot of speculation with the Raiders and him going to join Brady, drafting Shedeur, drafting Cam Ward, working with that. But I think the main takeaway from him choosing the Bears is his belief in Caleb Williams. He saw what Caleb Williams was. He knows what he can be. He sees him as someone he can work with and mold into an elite quarterback that we know he can be, which would be as we know, that's how we're going to win games in this league. We need Caleb Williams to perform.
Yeah.
Like,
To your point about the Bears getting the number one prospect, we haven't done that. So this is like, everybody's saying we're repeating. We have been, but these last couple steps that the front office has been doing is they're trying to break that, and that's good to see as a fan. Because like Matt Nagy was not the number one prospect. He was maybe top 6, top 5, but he
was more or less a puppet for Andy Reid as well.
Exactly, and he didn't have that offense under hit. Like Ben Johnson's been in Detroit for 3 years. That's his offense. He's been in Detroit for longer than that, but like he's been running that offense for 3 years, and it's exciting to them actually pull the trigger on it. And get this deal done quick before other people, were trying to. Because I was kind of convinced he was going to the Raiders. I was like, the Bears are going to do the Bears what they do best. But yeah, this is in terms of him, offensive coordinator to becoming a head coach. From that interview I saw today, it was very reassuring. Yeah, he took all the questions. Like a head coach should. He talked directly to the players at some point. It just felt like he was trying to establish something different in Chicago. It seems like him and Ryan Poles are going to work hand in hand. Like obviously he has to say that, but a lot of good things I saw out of the press conference today as well. Wards, you got anything on?
Yeah, I was going to get an idea. I did hear some interesting commentary. I'm not sure if you guys saw the 670 The Score video with Big Z, Brad Biggs. I do like to watch those.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, it's I forget the two of the guys' names, but the hosts of the 670 The Score show, I think it's Grody and I forget the other guy who does that show, but one of them just hates Big Z. And it's hilarious to me. Where like they never like come right out and say it, but like all the mannerisms and the way that they talk to each other, it's just like blatantly obvious. But one of the big things that they proposed was just that they were surprised to see Kevin Warren and the McCaskies basically shell out to get that 12 to 13 rumored $12 to $13 million for Ben. And he had what I thought was an interesting response. But before I give you guys that, just kind of want to get your guys' take on what you thought of that dollar amount. Was that something that was impressive or surprising to you at all? Or
11th paid highest coach right now.
Yeah. And that's kind of speaks to the kind of the change I'm seeing. I know everyone talks about the ownership being the problem, and it most likely is. The McCaskies are not they're not football people, they're business people. The Bears are like a family business for them. That's not how you develop from top to bottom. Unfortunately, that's just the situation we're in. We have to live with that. But you see and you look at the Commanders last year. What's his name? Josh.
Yeah, he got kicked to the curb, and now look at him.
Yeah, they bring in the new owner, the guy who owns the guy who owns Fanatics, who owns the Sixers. They bring him in, and things turn around immediately.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just it kind of speaks to how big of an impact that the ownership can have. But on the flip side of that, that's kind of what I was getting at is we've never made this move. The last number I saw was 6 years, $14 million.
Yeah,
that is a massive contract for a coach. That's unbelievable, especially someone who's never been a head coach. I mean, we're not extending him after 5 years of success. We're just betting on this guy.
Yeah,
and that's never been our MO. That's never been something we've done. So right from the start, that's huge. And then also Ryan Poles, the main issue with Ben Johnson. This talk through the offseason after the Bears season was over, and we were really getting speculation on this, is Ryan Poles didn't want to hire him. He's going into the last year of his contract. Okay. He's in a delicate situation. He wants to bring in a guy who's going to keep him around. Okay. Yeah. And there was a lot of talk that Ben Johnson wasn't that guy. Ben Johnson wanted to bring in his own staff, kind of set up his own scheme. So the fact that Ryan Poles was, I'm assuming, able to find common ground with Ben Johnson and work with him and see a vision for the future with him is massive at this point. I know we're 3 days into it or 2 days into it, but I mean, this is all we could hope for at this moment.
Yeah. Tom, anything to add there?
No, I mean, I worry, the one thing I am worried, I've just been doing deep dives, and Dan Orlovsky was saying some stuff about offensive coordinators coming in haven't done the best in the last 6 years.
Sure.
Like the rookie to offensive coordinator, you think it'd work perfectly, but it hasn't been. You look at, DeMeco Ryan and C.J. Stroud. That's working. And what the Commanders are doing with Jane Daniels, like they're defensive minded coaches, and that kind of worries me. But yeah, other than that, I'm just stoked, dude. I just been watching videos and just relishing in the moment this moment that we have as Bears fans. I don't want to get too high. I don't.
Right.
But it does feel good.
Yeah. And
our guy, and no one else can say that they got the guy. We got the guy this year that everyone
last year.
So.
Yeah, and that was actually kind of the point that to have gotten the guys. There has been an issue with ownership, undoubtedly. Putting their nose in business there, they probably their word isn't really going to be valued at. But the comment, I believe it was Biggsy made the comment, but wasn't really that surprised to see that we shelled out. Like, we haven't really shown that we're penny pinchers in Chicago. We pay people pretty big contracts. DeAndre Swift, if you look at contracts equivalent for people that are equivalent to his power or caliber at the running back position, kind of a huge contract for, I guess in retrospect for all that we got out of him, but for the expectation, even still looking at it on paper prior to him even playing a snap, it was like, holy smokes. Same thing with, now I'm blanking. I just had it. Nate Davis, that was, a rather large signing where it was like, that doesn't exactly make sense. So that was the point that they were making more so, is that the Bears really haven't been able to, or haven't been afraid to shell out, but more so when they have shelled out, it's proven to not be the right decision to make. Yeah. So, that can happen every now and then.
We can talk about some free agents. Do you want to do that now? And then just bolstering our team, how do you think Ben Johnson will do that?
Yeah, so I've got quite a bit in that regard in terms of free agents. I think it might be best to actually look at the draft, because Ben is going to perceivably have an impact on who we draft in the coming 2025 draft, and that's a little bit quicker. So we'll put a bow on that and then get to the free agents to wrap it out. The 2025 draft, I don't think, like I said, Ben's going to have somewhat of an impact. I don't think it's been too substantive to this point. I think, the holes were pretty obvious previous in the previous season, and those holes still will remain. And then we'll get to that free agent discussion and, talk about some new opening holes there in both offense and defense. But it doesn't seem like we're going to, bring a whole bunch of new people into the fold. But Al, you were saying that you were seeing a lot of stuff on Ashton Jeanty now?
Yeah. So it's basically as soon as the Ben Johnson news broke.
Oh,
yeah. They go hand in hand. I guess a lot of people find, and I can, once I heard it, I can see the vision.
Sure.
I kind of know where we're going with that.
Gibbs, Monty.
Exactly. We want to do a little Sonic and Knuckles thing in Chicago, which the more weapons you give to an offensive mind like Ben Johnson, the better he's going to be. So I see where we're coming from there. And Ben Johnson's not dumb. Okay. It's not like he's pretending that we have this incredible offensive line that he's just going to build an offensive juggernaut around. I think if he drafts Ashton Jeanty in the draft, there are guys in the second, third, and fourth round that he's looking at that he thinks are going to come in, make an immediate impact. And then also, just to not jump too far ahead, but then and further into free agency, the Bears still have a lot of cap space with not a lot of needs outside the offensive and defensive line. Yeah, we have guys everywhere. We just do not have anyone inside on either side of the ball.
We need some big boys. We need some big boys in there.
We need some big boys.
Yeah, losing both middle linebackers potentially as well.
Yeah.
I know that's not what you meant by inside, but yeah.
Yeah. But no, it goes hand in hand. Like, it's the middle of our defense.
Well, you look at Ben Johnson, he thrives, like he said, even in his press conference, that this is not going to be the offense in Detroit. This is going to be a completely rebuilt offense. But he does, in Detroit, he liked to do the play action. Caleb Williams has not been great play action. So I think that's something that they need to work on. But if we do get Ashton Jeanty, like, that could be something. But, like, I would like to get – he also did say something here that I thought was kind of interesting. he's talking about his challenging defenses and the morphology of it. And he said it doesn't matter if it's 50 runs in a game or 50 passes in a game. It doesn't matter. Balance for me is throughout a season. And that was like kind of eye-opening. Like you always want to say like in the games like, well, we're not running enough or we're not passing enough. He's not looking at it like that. And that was kind of just interesting into his eyes of what he's thinking, you know. And I'm just excited to see what he's going to offer us in the aspect of the offense. But I also think that we need someone along with DeAndre Swift, but we also need like a hard runner, head down like a Najee Smith or Najee Harris, like you talked about, and we need like a speedster. We need a speedster like a little guy that just is on the edge and just can fly down the field and open things up.
Sure.
I think that would be yeah. So that'd be something I'd be looking for in the maybe not in the draft, but definitely free agency. So
Xavier Worthy?
He's not. He's with the Chiefs. Didn't he get drafted last year?
Yeah, he's pretty locked up. I can't imagine anything would happen with that.
We can trade. Make it work.
Well, that's the thing about Genty as well. It's like when we can think about building this running back by committee in this backfield. That we have a guy who can pound inside, a guy who can burn on the edge, a guy who can do a little bit of both. Genty, I don't know, his receiving game leaves a little something to be desired. But if he's who we think he's going to be, I mean, we're talking a guy who can get the ball 20, 25, 30 times.
In this age of the NFL, it seems like running backs are coming back. So
they are. We're there on the upswing. Think about Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. Like those are two of the best running backs in the NFL drafted in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, and then you have guys that have been around and found the right system, found the right offensive line. They're thriving again. Like it's.
But you think about Saquon, it's the offensive line. Like obviously he was good in the Giants in New York, but that offensive line in Philly is crazy good. Just like the Lions is crazy good. You let a Gibbs or a Saquon get some steam before they get hit, and it's hard to stop. So it goes back to getting guys in the trenches as well. So.
And it's almost a fast running back too. I mean, to your point, if you can get them running room where they're starting to stride out a little bit, then it becomes a lot harder to take that angle and tackle them if they're already hitting the hole at speed. And then you see the alternative when they get hit in the backfield when you're watching the Bears game, and that's tough. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing with why Saquon's had so much success here. I think he leads the league in yards before contact. I think it's like 2.3. Like he is full speed before he even gets close to being touched. And then he can make his move and do what Saquon does. Yeah. And that's actually that's what had me a little reserved about DeAndre Swift coming from running behind that offensive line to what we have in Chicago. I mean, he's a great playmaker. I really like what he brings. I think he's going to be a great piece for us, but it's just hard to evaluate someone going from that system to our system and then expect him to do exactly what he did there. Like we have to change it up a bit. And real quick, this has got me thinking, this whole Lions-Bears thing. This might be a delusional Bears fan take, but I see Jared Goff as a Brock Purdy type of quarterback.
Sure. Yeah.
In a great system, he's going to make on-time throws. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes outside those weird games he had this year, but he's going to make on-time throws. He's going to make the right read. Okay. He's not anything physically spectacular. He doesn't have the arm strength. Like he doesn't do anything incredibly. He just makes the right play.
I'm pretty sure Colin Cowherd said he was one of the best quarterbacks. He's so crazy.
Anyway. Colin Cowherd's insane. He says things, so we'll talk about it right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
He said he's the best quarterback. So. Anyway, I thought about that. Go on.
No, I'm glad you added that. But that's where I'm getting to the delusional part. Caleb Williams is physically exceptional. He can make off-base plays.
And he can run.
He can run out. He can run. He can be outside the pocket. He can throw the ball 70 yards. Like, there's a lot of things. If we can get a buy-in and Ben can figure that out, like there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah. A little more accuracy I'd like to see out of Caleb as well.
Absolutely. That's all, at least something to be desired. But, I mean, there's a lot of skittishness. I mean, just getting hit as many times as you do, you just start to sail your pass a little bit, expecting to hit. I don't know.
That's true.
I mean, if you're Caleb in the position and like, hey, you can come into the NFL and you can be as trusting as possible. Like, hey, I've got this Matt Eberflus guy. He's telling me that I'm the best thing ever and he's going to set me up for success. And like, words are words, especially when the actions seem to go the opposite way as the words would suggest. I think that it could be the case that Ben Johnson being a very intense guy and having that, attention to detail and, no stone left unturned type deal. It just kind of seems like his whole MO, like that type of like, type A personality is like brain works in binary code and stuff.
Dude,
but
watching this, sorry.
Oh, no, I'll wrap up quick here, but like the thing about that is, with Caleb working with him, I think that he'll exude that confidence and that Caleb might start to basically take his emotion and the way that he's feeling about things and like make that his opinion. Because I mean, you couldn't have been confident in the locker room as Matt Eberflus. I know that he said that he was expecting to game plan for, was it San Francisco, or I think it was San Francisco, right? And then we canned him prior to, but like,
yeah,
that was a guy that just walked around unsure of himself. So when you see that, and then that's who you're looking up to as to be a leader, and that's why I think it was such an important thing in this coaching hire to look for a leader of men. I think Ben really owns his process from nose to tail. And like I said, I think that's going to be shown in the attitude of the team, and it's going to permeate throughout. So that's.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Is he a leader of men? Not like a Vrabel.
To be determined. Yeah, for sure.
But he does haven't, like, I was going to say, that press conference today, this is just one press conference. Obviously, it's the biggest one, getting welcome to the team, but watching him and Eberflus, it's just like night and day, dude. It's so wild. Like, he had a truthfulness to him. He had like he cared, he, talked about losing in the line like this. He was reeling over that, loss, and it's a lot to take in, but he was dealing with it. And then, it's just like, he was just telling us all what we wanted to hear. And it was like, yeah, obviously,
yeah,
it was a breath. It was fresh. It was a nice, fresh start right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I the only, I don't want to be all positives here. I have a tendency to do that. So I think one thing we do have to remember is the leader of men term was thrown around a lot in this Bears coaching search. What that actually means, who's to say? I don't know. It's a very vague, weird term, but I agree with it. We did need a leader of men.
I think it came from the players. I think it came from the players that they wanted someone that like took the locker room and was like, and shook it and was like, do your job, and no one was doing that. And, that's probably where it kind of came from, but, Yeah,
it's a respect thing. We want someone the players are going to respect, they're going to listen to, they're going to trust. Like, that's kind of what we're getting at here.
And the whole coaching staff, I think, it stems down from the head coach, but if we do get a Dennis Allen, or I heard Rizzy, too, from the
team.
Dude, yeah. I would love to have him on the team. But I think we look for someone that has prior coaching experience, head coaching experience, that maybe had failed, but they were in that light at some
Catch
point
him on the upswing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It helps. I know what you're saying. It does actually help. And that's the thing. Ben Johnson, this offseason, this first offseason will be very telling, because he's an offensive genius. He's a boy genius, if you will. These young coaches.
I like that he's young.
38.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
But Dan Campbell, his head coach, was the leader of men. I think in the NFL, I think everyone would agree on that. Like, no one is more well respected and can just take the reins of a football team better than Dan Campbell. And that took a lot of pressure off Ben Johnson to sit in his little room and design his double shovel passes and all the bullshit he was running. And I get that. So if he can absorb the head coaching responsibilities, be that leader, make his presence known, and then find time to build the offense that he wants to build, that's gonna be when this thing really
and also the offensive coordinator that he picks is going to be interesting, because I think that's a huge part in this that can, I think he said it today, like can stay up late, he said, I think, and like just kind of facilitate the offense while he's doing head coaching duties. And just kind of get everybody in order, I think, is basically what he was talking about. Like, getting the schemes correct and like getting all those in their head and drilled into their head, and then like he'll have the mind of it. I guess I don't know. It'll be interesting who he picks because I haven't heard anything about. We've heard Dennis Allen, but I haven't heard anything about the offensive coordinator yet.
Yeah, and sorry to jump back in here, but I agree. I agree. Like the offensive coordinator position would be huge, and there hasn't been a lot of buzz to who that's going to be. But I think from what I'm hearing, it's going to be someone who will challenge him. Not going to be a yes man going along with everything. He's going to provide a new perspective. But the main thing that people want to see, that I want to see, is offensive line, an offensive line connection.
Yeah.
Whether a former offensive line coach, whatever that may be, Ben Johnson's calling the plays. Ben Johnson's going to design the offense. We're not going to pretend the offensive coordinator is going to come in here and give his 2 cents on that.
Right.
Like, they'll collaborate a bit, of course, but we need someone who can focus on the areas where we are weak, and that's our offensive line. Like that's the dream situation. I don't know who that is. I wish I had a list for you guys, but
they said the offensive line coach for the Lions, but now it's like I think that's getting refuted. Like he doesn't want to take all of the Lions coaching,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's take them all.
Yeah, I think he's like number 1 in the league. Like he's one of the best. So I doubt we'll get him. I forgot his name, but
Yeah, and that's kind of been one of those weak points, and it's not for any particular reason other than just choosing the wrong guys, kind of being on the wrong side of the coin there. It's to not fill that center position has been tough. That's a very difficult position to play.
I mean, who's returning for us for offense? Maybe Wright,
Darnell Wright, Tevin Jenkins.
Like who actually
Tevin Jenkins is coming back for sure.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I have a hard time believing 75% of that line is going to stay. Like they can't. We got to get a revamped. Like Nate Davis sucked so bad, dude.
It's terrible.
That guy from Yale did not look good. It's just yeah. I don't know. And what about Murray? He was hurt, but he did pretty well.
Well, that's the issue. By the end of the year, we were playing with a Frankenstein 3rd, 4th string offensive line. We couldn't even evaluate anything at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have put me in the offensive line at that point. Like, it would have made a difference.
I think that's certainly going to be something. I mean, I guess we're kind of transitioning over to the free agent thing here, but I think on the other side of the ball there, to give Poles his flowers in addition to getting that deal done with Ben Johnson quickly, to have kept Andrew Billings around the way that we did. A few of the comments that Ben Johnson made in the press conference going into the season, he was most nervous about our defensive the ability to stop the run on defense, which obviously that changed throughout the season pretty substantially, but we gotta pay that man Andrew Billings, in my opinion. That was a good move to extend him the 2 years when we had the opportunity to, and I think it's about time to maybe get some ink on another deal for that man.
Let me play this game. I got a list pulled up of free agent running backs.
Oh, okay. You want to go? Okay.
Some of these guys, I feel like we want a younger guy, but there's a lot of guys on here. I still don't know if this is a legit website. I swear. But some of these guys, like Aaron Jones, obviously a veteran, injury prone. I don't love that. Najee Harris, you talked about him. Great runner, young, hard runner. I wouldn't say great runner, hard runner.
Yeah.
Okay, but those are some big names.
Kareem Hunt.
Let's see here.
Deontay Foreman. We liked him in Chicago.
Yeah.
How old is he now? Jesus.
Yeah, he's got to be fucking.
Javonte Williams from Denver. They have that. J.K. Dobbins. We got Rico Dowdle. They need him in Dallas. They might go the rookie quarterback rookie.
They might draft Genty.
Yeah. Cam Akers.
Yeah.
The backup in Minnesota right now. I mean, there's some good names on here that are hard runners. Elijah Mitchell played pretty well for the San Francisco. Jaylen Warren from Pittsburgh. Jordan Mason in San Francisco. Like, those guys.
There's some names.
Yeah.
Ryan. I don't mean to. Just a lot of the guys on the list are either former ACLs or can't hold on to the football.
That's so true. What about AJ? What about AJ Dillon?
AJ Dillon.
I love AJ.
33.
I love AJ Dillon, dude.
No, dude. Guess how old AJ Dillon is?
How old is AJ Dillon?
26 and a half.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what it says, dude.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Yeah.
it.
Listen,
That man's legs are the size of my waist, dude. Get him in Chicago. I love that guy.
that is fun.
great?
In the cold in November and December.
They wouldn't trade him to us.
I think.
Yeah.
I think the running back position. It's kind of like if we go after the J.K. Dobbins and the Javonte Williams. I think it's like throwing money in an old car and being like, it's going to work this time. And
Yeah.
What's going to eventually come of that. I think we build in the draft. And I'm not saying Genty specifically. I do have another name for you, Devin Neal out of Kansas.
Oh,
He is
I was thinking
electric.
ASU. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Devin Neal.
Devin Neal out of Kansas, electric, smaller running back, can catch the ball, fast as hell. He's a guy we can pick up in the. I'm going to project it out 3rd, 4th round right now.
Yeah.
If we go offensive line heavy, and we go offensive defensive line focused, we could snipe a guy like that in the late rounds who can play minutes.
I mean, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's what they do. You know, they get what they need, and then they get some quality shit that you don't think about, and in the later rounds, and they turn up to be great. You know, I'm pretty sure their running back, he hurt himself. He broke his leg this year. He was a later. He's great. You know, he's a good hard running back that they got. And I want to say that he got in the 6th round. I could be completely wrong. 4th round, maybe. I don't know. But just like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to get the line. The first 2 picks, I do believe they need to get line because I don't know the free agent. I'm not very good with linemen. I don't know their names. I don't know how good they are. You know, it's just there's too much. I do running backs, quarterbacks, receivers, like the main shit. But you get into the trenches, there's a lot of them. So, you know, I just hopefully trust that Ben Johnson knows what the hell he's doing.
Well, and the discrepancy with us and the Chiefs is, Tom, they develop guys. Like, they actually have a program and a system where it's like, we can put you in a position where you're going to be successful with your specific talents, your God-given talents. If we start to trend that direction under a Ben Johnson, who, like, again, I just think who he is as a person, I think he's going to take this first crack at being a head coach pretty seriously. Wouldn't surprise me if he's, pulling 18, 20-hour days. And, we talked about Thomas Brown and how he lost a bunch of weight being in that head coaching position. I think this guy's going to take this shit pretty serious. But
he's already pretty slim, so I don't know how much he can lose.
Yeah. But no, this Devin Neal dude, I think you got something there. That would make a lot of sense, and then it'd still allow for us to make some of those early offensive line picks.
What do you guys think about Keenan Allen? Because he is almost 33 years old, and he is up for free agency this year.
Hey, we've got a large list of available free agents, but yeah, starting with Keenan Allen for the right price. I mean,
if he wants to come back on a team-friendly deal, I don't know why he would.
How much did we pay him last year?
That's a great question.
Not much. I think like 10 or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it was somewhere around that.
I mean, he's been great. I think he's been great for Caleb, and I think they have a nice bond.
Whoa!
But he was out with injuries this year. Not maybe in later in the season, but like he still was out. He dropped some balls in the moments. I could lose him.
It's just if we lose him, there's just a veteran presence in the locker room that I feel like he brings.
Yeah.
With guys like Rome and DJ. DJ's still young. He's coming into the league a little bit. He's developing himself, of course, but it's just nice having that guy who's been around for a while kind of pick you up and help you through these times like we've been having to kind of prepare for the better times that are hopefully ahead. But he's got to come back on. I mean, we're not paying him $18 million again. We can't do that.
No.
That's absurd. And someone might. He's a big enough name. He's a fringe Hall of Famer. Not really, but he's a guy whose name will get mentioned in that conversation. Like someone, the Jets, the whatever, someone's going to give him $15 million, and I don't think that's going to be us.
Yeah.
But I'm not torn up if we lose him. Like we'll find that leadership somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the list of names is extensive here. I mean, obviously some that we expected: Mercedes Lewis, Darrell Taylor, DeAndre Carter was one that I actually was not expecting to see. He was like I thought he was a decent situational wide receiver, and of course, not
Mhm.
all that expensive there. Yeah, Colin Johnson is another guy that we saw every now and then. Jack Sanborn, I just personally love Jack Sanborn, especially for
Love
what we
Jack.
were paying. Yeah, for what we were paying our other linebackers that played the same position. I mean, just so much value to be had there. Bill Murray, Doug Kramer, Larry Borum. Yeah, there's quite a few names. I mean, nothing really that jumps off the page as somebody who I want to see back for sure. It's all kind of, guys that I'm fine with walking, or somebody that, for the right number, I'm fine with keeping. But externally, it'll be interesting to see like how we do navigate those waters in terms of, drafting guys and then, picking up free agents at advantageous deals. Yeah, we'll see.
More news to come for sure.
Oh yeah, it's be exciting.
Yeah, well, that feels like a good place to wrap here. So do be sure to like and subscribe. Again, we're bringing on guests here. We've got Big Al giving his takes, which we always do appreciate. Show us a little love, share it with your friends. Looking to make 2025 the year of Chi-Town Lowdown here. So any love shown is much appreciated. But we will see you guys for the pick show, and then again next week as well. But hopefully you're tuning into that pick show and getting those picks for the upcoming games here.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Get down, baby.